I'd like everybody to put their hands together and give it up for the birthday boy of the day, German. Happy birthday! Crab stole my drugs.
Yes, I'm a star. Nobody. What is going on?
Yes? Ew, you got night rain all over my dagger. Ugh. And you're welcome, by the way. Since thank yous are so scarce here.
I can't believe it's you. You're...
I'm sorry, but do you know me? Yeah, run right back into where the demons are lurking. That's a brilliant idea. Almost as brilliant as the time I decided to beat Path of Exile with nothing but white eye. Oh, what's this? Uh-oh.
Do you wanna see an exile die? No peace, no light, just a bloodstained sky. Every night the horrors makes me cry. The world may turn.
The rules for this run is pretty simple and straightforward. I'm only allowed to equip and use white items and white gear only. Also, this story starts with 2 crashes. You'll get that in a second. This entire journey begins with me here, being shipwrecked and washed ashore at the Twilight Strand. And the game client crashed, hence the 2 crashes. So when I booted the game up again, this is what I was met with. Super nice, right? Anyway, when I got back on my feet, I picked up a weapon, a skill gem and a support gem. As a Scion, you start out with the Spectral Throw, and I think it's a very nice skill. But I'm gonna get rid of it pretty quickly since I will be focusing on melee skills. And here is Hillock, the very first boss of this game. He's not too difficult, pretty straightforward. He just regains full health once he reaches 50% health. Other than that, very straightforward. And with Hillock out of the way, it's possible to enter Lionized Watch. Up next it's the coast, and I have only one thing to say.
I have a simple choice ahead of me. Kill or be eaten.
Okay, nice. So I can just feel this run is coming up all Fat Exile. After those few mishaps, I finally reached the waypoint, and then I decided to get Bestel's medicine chest from the Tidal Island, because the reward for this quest is a Quicksilver flask. And increased movement speed is always good, especially early on. And in this case, with white items only, it's a godsend. And I ran straight through the mudflats, right into the submerged passage. And here in the submerged passage is where the final crash for this entire run happened. At this point I got quite annoyed with the game crashing so much, so I went online. And there I read it was much more reliable to just download the PS4 client rather than the PS5. And yes, thank fuck it solved the problem. So with the new client downloaded, nothing noteworthy happens over the next few areas, so why don't we skip ahead until the prison. That's cause I got hips for days. Okay, Brutus is the first real boss fight of this game. And I was actually having a difficult time with him simply because I only had white gear on me. He was quite a pain in the ass. And I figured, oh my god, this is not going to be the baseline for how this run is going to be. Psych! It was only so-so. I died a couple of times to him, but the second time I died, that was purely my own fault. And with Brutus defeated, the exit gates to the prisoner's gate is now opened, so now there's only one path ahead, and it's forward. That was the path forward! So thanks to piety, now the path forward has become a detour. So I have no choice but to take the detour. but I'm not too worried because it still provides me an opportunity to get plenty of XP and hopefully some new gear. And after a while I finally managed to find the ship graveyard.
Whoa, this place is spooky.
And yes, the ship graveyard looks spooky aesthetically. But before I had a chance to pee my pants, I already found the waypoint here. And after a short while I found the area which leads into the final boss of this act. So I grabbed the waypoint there, then returned it to the ship graveyard, where I finished up the side quest for Captain Fairgraves, which I'm rewarded a skill point for. In any case, with Fairgraves defeated, the only noteworthy thing that happens between now and reaching the final boss of this act is my main skill, which I changed. So now I no longer use Dual Strike, I use Viper Strike. Wow, you're beautiful. Now Mervale, the final boss of Act 1. I only had a few issues with her, but one of them, as you can see, was a disconnect, which is very unfortunate because that means the boss fight gets reset. But I didn't have any issues getting her health back down to where it was before the crash. So towards the end of phase 1. I'd also like to mention here that back at Lionel's Watch I had the option to buy a cold resistance ring, which I did. Because Mervale mainly deals cold damage, so it's a really good idea to stack cold resistance throughout Act 1. And it's also really neat to know that once Act 1 is over, it will be a while before I have to even think about cold resistance again. Apart from rare mobs and whatnot. And with that, Mervale has been defeated and Act 1 is done.
Men turn us into monsters. Savagery thrives all around me.
So now Act 2 lies ahead and it's just a matter of pushing on. Because it's a long journey I have ahead of me still. But after arriving at the forest encampment, I just pushed on and started by running east.
I am bruised. I hunt boar, hunt to feed my people. You are not a friend to us. You need to run faster than boar.
Okay, noted. From here I ran through the old fields to the crossroads and then to the bridge encampment finally. That way I got to deal with Caitlin pretty early and get him out of the way. Because there's 3 bandits that needs to be killed and he's one of them. And here I also had my very first breach encounter. Okay, so you don't need to kill the bandits, you can side with one of them and get a buff if that's what you prefer, but I prefer to take the skill points. And with the key I picked up from the Blackguard, the path forward is no longer a detour, it's just irrelevant. But I'm being rewarded with a skill point from Bestel for opening the path ahead, so... Also, while I'm back at Lionel's Watch, this time I chose to do the quest, The Dweller of the Deep, because that's an additional skill point as reward. I was just too lazy to do it at the time.
Thank you.
Then it's back to the Western Forest, where I started off by taking out Alira, not on a date mind you. Hey, either she's incredibly tanky or just very resistant to chaos damage. Or maybe I just have a low DPS. And after defeating her, the only thing left for me to do here is to get Maligaro's Spike from the Weaver. And despite the Weaver having a lot of ads, the good thing is that you never have to worry about running out of flasks. And I don't know how you feel about spiders, but for me, I wanna set myself on fire and vomit uncontrollably. Finally, I can wave goodbye to the Western Forest. I will never go back to that area again. Here is the third and final bandit of the trio, Professor Oak. By far the beefiest and tankiest of them all, no contest. But apart from being incredibly tanky, he has also the ability to regenerate life. So if you have a very low DPS, he might be able to actually out-heal it. And that's a cause for concern. Fortunately, I didn't have any issues with him, So that's a win. And what's an even bigger win is the reward for taking down all 3 bandits. The Chamber of Sins is arguably the area I should have cleared out as the...
Don't forget, Sile. You were born amidst the blood and the screaming just like me.
That was so rude. As I was saying, the Chamber of Sins is probably the first area I should have cleared out once I got to Act 2. But hey, why would I want to do the main story quest chronologically? Am I right?
Had to put an end to this cruel piety.
You've been hanging onto that ledge all this time?
It's nearby and it's something that heartless bitch must never get her hands on.
So from the Vaal ruins and onwards, I'm only going to show you the highlights until I reach the final boss of this act. Here I got a couple of new gloves, freshly corrupted. Whoops. This mob gave a lot of XP.
You are well prepared for the end.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a fair warning here, because I did something rather stupid. I thought I had the recording of me beating the boss on Act 2 here, when in reality I hadn't, and I only noticed it when it was too late. So in order for me to make amends for it, I created another character, got her all the way to Act 2, built her basically the same way, and then I equipped her only with white gear to take out this boss. So what you're about to see is a dramatic recreation. The Vaal Oversoul is by no means a difficult boss fight. But sure, he hurts a lot, he has a lot of AoE, and he has annoying ads. And the only issue I ran into during this boss fight was that at some point I ran out of life flasks. So I had to switch my auras a bit around, activate Vitality, wait till I had regenerated enough health, then I could go back in to attack the boss, the ads, and then replenish my life flasks. Other than that, it was pretty straightforward.
Tidy up ourselves.
This boss fight took approximately 5 minutes in total, and I did not die a single time, which is very rare for the likes of me. And as promised, here you can see my entire setup, all white items, and in a second you'll also be able to see my skill tree as well. So that was the first 2 acts on my journey through Rayclast, and I'm kind of amazed that I didn't die a single time to the Vaal construct, but I guess that you should be fine so long as you're able to stack armor. Hey, what are you doing behind that tree? Why don't you come over here? I'm not done telling my story. Far from it. What in Rayclast is that? Hey. Oh, fuck. Okay, so clearly you want to hear about Act 3. Okay, whoa, let's go! So after defeating the Vaal construct, I managed to reach the city of Sarn, where emperors ruled and died, just like everyone else. After defeating the Vaal Oversoul, getting to the city of Sarn was my next goal. On my way to the city I saw a woman who's been trapped, I saved her life and all her captors got their knees capped. She said we gotta hurry, there's no time to waste, and on the way to the city she explained everything on the way. I didn't get a chance to say hi or settle in. Before I knew it, I was outside of the city again. Outside of the city, I chose to press on, because once this job is done, I can finally move on. I saw the sewer grates, I punched a monkey, I think I also saw a bat, and before I knew it, I was inside of the crematorium just like that.
As selected by the 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, the Grammy goes to...
It's Path of Exile.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you could make it, my lady. There are answers inside you that I'd like to see.
Blech. Okay, so I got my ass kicked by Piety once, and my damage is pretty bad. But nonetheless, I managed to take her down, get the item from Tallman, and return to the city. Here, I skipped ahead a little bit. So here, I have run through the sewers, collected all the busts, and I'm headed towards the battlefield. And here in the battlefield, I rushed to the waypoint, picked up the ribbon spool, then I headed towards the docks. because at the docks there is another quest item that I need to deliver to Diala once I get to the bottom of Solaris Temple. And oh, would you look at that? I'm already here!
The cockroaches will... I like you. A dash of that.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. General Gravicius.
Well to man, not to you, little girl.
Little girl? It's not a cockroach to you. Gravicius was a pretty straightforward fight. I only died once, and that's about it. But he has a health sponge, and I find it so fun that every time I have defeated him, I just proceed to defeat Piety, then Dominus, and I'm done with Act 3. I never pick up the reward for defeating Gravicius.
I fought for God. Who do you fight for, Exile?
I fight for myself, you stupid And that's also how the rest of this act is going to play out. So I didn't waste any time and I headed straight to Piety after defeating Gravicius. Why did you have to be this twisted? I'm in love with you. We could have had something together, you and me. For so long you have been my star, my mentor, my guiding moonlight. I love you to death!
Damn you.
Say it with me, everybody. You should die 1,000 times over for what you've done. Also, I tried ascending, but we don't talk about that.
Justice is served.
No, it's not.
Dominus, the man who exiled me, sent me to my execution, and then I ended up in Rayclast. This was brutal, let me just tell you. He was kicking my ass so hard. This entire fight took approximately 10 minutes, and that's really saying something this early in the game. Psych, of course it wasn't difficult. Granted, it took a while, but I mean, it's Dominus. It's not a bad fight, and the most difficult I had with this entire boss fight was to deal with his henchmen. But other than that, pretty straightforward. And after spending an unnecessarily large amount of time on Dominus, I'm finally on my way to Act 4.
From where I'm standing now, Dominus. I've killed the puppet. Now I just need to follow the strings.
And with Dominus defeated, Act 3 is behind me and I just need to focus on Act 4. And Act 4 is incredibly straightforward, and I did not have any major issues. And since it's a short act, I'm gonna keep it as such. So let's see if we can speedrun through this. And fair warning, I am by no stretch of the imagination any kind of speedrunner. But let's give it a whirl. Act 4 starts off with me being told that I have to enter the Dryad Lake to kill off Vol. I did that, he dropped a banner, that banner grants access to the mines. In said mines I found a spirit which I freed. It's just a side quest, but it awards you a skill point. Deeper into the mines I met Diala, she told me to kill off Dareso and Kaun. And so I did. From there I proceeded further into the belly of the beast where I had to fight off Piety once again. After defeating her, the only thing left for me to do was to find and defeat Maliketh. After that, Act 4 is done. Also, I'm very sorry for calling him Maliketh. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring recently. My latest achievement was that I got really drunk and then somehow I managed to beat Loretta in the Halig tree with nothing but the beast repellent torch. And I streamed it so you can see it for yourself here on YouTube.
I need you to do something for me. I'm assuming you've seen the posters flying around recently.
No, I haven't.
Here, I'll show you. Bring me her head so I can get those smeckles. My dealer recently got some really good weed and I need to buy all of it.
I understand everything now. Well, don't worry, boss. You can count on me. Okay, Act 5. The final part of Act 1. And this act is also very straightforward, which I love. So I headed out from the Overseer's Towers into the control blocks where I picked up the quest item Mia's Meter. Miasi? Fuck. It's the quest item on screen right now. Anyway, I also found a corrupted area. And after that I rushed through Oriath Square to find the Templar's Court where I have to find and defeat Avarius. And on my way to defeat Avarius in the Chamber of Innocence, everything was going great, I'm not gonna lie. And you know, when everything is going fine, you just start playing this melody in your head.
Boom, 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 boom.
And everything is going great. It's not like I had any issues or any major bumps in the road. And suddenly it's just like the melody in my head got louder and louder. And as I was making my way through the desecrated chambers, I suddenly heard this loud noise coming from the far end of the room. And as I got closer and closer, the music just got louder and louder. What the f*** is that noise? And just as I was about to enter Avarius' room, the music just got so loud I could barely even think straight. The music was so loud, but I still wanted to go up there and give him credit for the beats he's making. But he did not want me there. He said his music were exclusively for non-exiles.
I summon my ordinance.
Wait, you can summon your fangs? You must be hosting some crazy concerts in here.
I love seeing a really feisty fighter. I'm your biggest exile, and now I'm gonna blast you to death with mine.
And after this whole ordeal is done, the only thing that's left is to backtrack out through the desecrated chambers, through Oriath, into the ossuary where I have to pick up the Staff of Purity, and then I'm on my way to head off against Kitava, the final boss of Act 5, and hence the final boss of Part 1. It's really nice to know that this is Part 1 and there's still 5 acts left to go.
I won't let you destroy my home.
Now that is incredibly funny. An exile with a home? Anyway, this is Kitava, the final boss of Part 1. Now don't get me wrong, the fight can be rather rough, but I don't think that he's more difficult than dealing with Innocence, for instance. And in my case, this fight took less time than the fight against Dominus. In any case, since this is the first encounter with Kitava, he only needs to get down to 50% health. The only thing I found difficult with this entire encounter is that there is a few phases throughout this boss fight where his heart drops out that you have to damage, but there also spawns a lot of ads, and some of those ads can actually hit quite hard. Also, I think you should take a shot every time I tell you how bad my damage is, because my damage in this case is really bad. was the final boss of Act 5, and with that part 1 is done. So for part 2 you're gonna see not a cockroach that's gonna break her skull in ways you cannot even begin to fathom. So stay tuned for that.
I am the stone that the builder refused.
Okay, welcome to the second and worst part of this entire run. Act 6 starts here, and as you can see, I've gotten the minus 30 in all resistances, so this is bound to be hella fun. But before we get into things, I just quickly want to show you my setup so you can see what kind of items I'm using at the moment. Cool? Cool. So the first thing I'm asked to do was clearing out the Twilight Strand. It wasn't a big problem. I mean, sure, I had a few nervous moments, but all in all, Aina came to my aid and helped me clearing out the area, so it wasn't too bad. What was too bad though was the fight with Tokuhammer up next, which usually, if you're not capped on fire resistance, he can hit pretty hard. And considering the fact that I don't even have any stats because all of my items are white, yeah, this started to become a minor headache. Nothing too serious or anything. Not yet anyway. And after running around in circles in what feels like forever, I finally defeated Tokuhammer, which granted me access to the ridge. And from there I ran straight into the lower prison, which leads into Chevron's tower. And at top of the tower I have to fight and defeat Brutus and Chevron. And on my way towards the top I also found a corrupted area, which of course I have to check out. And I'm so glad I ran through this corrupted area, cause this skill gem is very useful and can even become very handy against the next boss, which is Chevron and Brutus. Right, I completely forgot to even use the skill gem. That's right. But in all seriousness, I kinda struggled a bit with Chevron and Brutus, but it's mostly because of my abysmal damage output. I guess it's more non-existent than abysmal. In any case, it was only when Chevron and Brutus were kind of fused together that Brutus hit really hard. Other than that, it wasn't too difficult, and it kinda went through without a hitch. I only died 5 times. I did not die 5 times to this boss. No, it went smoothly. I did. Moving on. Returning back to Prisoner's Gate, only this time I ran right through the area, until I encountered another corrupted area in the Western Forest, which I got to check out obviously. Anyway, I'm moving towards the riverways and to the next boss, which grants points in the Pantheon tree, because the reward for that point grants you flask charges per second, and I really want that. Okay, finally at the wetlands, and here, usually around this point, chaos damage shouldn't be an issue. You might have flask for resistance or maybe some gear, you might not even have negative resistances at all. And oh look, the fun just started without my consent, because I am so blessed to not have any flask with chaos resistance or any gear for that matter. Wow, I feel so blessed. And because this place is so much fun, I think I'll share some of the fun with you. Mainly the fact that it was actually more difficult for me to run through the area rather than dealing with the boss. And at long last I finally managed to take down Rislatha. And with Rislatha out of the way, I finally got the Pantheon point I was talking about earlier. Life flask charges per second. Let's get out of here! And so I did. I got the fuck away from there. Actually maybe too far, because for the next few levels I chose to delve, hoping that I would get maybe some currency, some useful flasks, better gear, you know. Plus I love delve, it's so amazing. So I delved for a while, and then I headed straight towards the final boss of this act, the Brine King.
Scroll of wisdom on her. Scroll of wisdom to read her. Scroll of wisdom so I can learn how to
almost completely forgot that there is another boss back at the prisoner's gate that I forgot about. So you know what? I'm gonna go head back, take him out, and then I'll be right back to face off against the Brine King. Sounds good? Good. Just like that.
So courageous.
Please hold that thought for 1 second while I'm setting my skill point. Please and thank you. Thank you. I would have used the term batshit insane, but thank you nonetheless. That was some very nice final words.
What the fuck did you just call me?
Sorry about that horrendous edit. I will never make a voice like that again, I promise you. Anyway, the Brine King didn't give me too much trouble. It was actually more straightforward than I thought it would be. And if you have noticed, I have found this ice block skill. I have no idea when it was introduced to the game, but I had a lot of fun using it, and it came in really handy at a few points during this fight with the Brine King. So that was nice. Ah, I knew you'd come to stand before the Elden Ring. Oh shit, wrong script. Who are you? And are you the one who put a bounty on my head? You're a unique specimen, Exile. Not quite human, not quite yokai. The fuck? You don't belong here, Exile. This world and all of its inhabitants resent you, you know? And I intend to make the world a better place for all who lives here. By removing you from it! Looks pretty dead to me. Jesus Christ, it's like every time I want to tell a story, the whole world is out with their pitchfork and torches just to spike my head like Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, where was I? I don't really remember much from the next part.
Pathetic. Here I thought you were the one who was going to claim the reward. Well, it certainly isn't too late to change that.
See, that wasn't too difficult, apart from the non-existent, absolutely abysmal damage output that I have. But hey, nonetheless, I'm here at Act 7, and first, oh, look at all those stats. I don't even care if it's good or bad, it's just all those stats on one item. Unfortunately, I have to sell it. Nonetheless, I still went to the vendor to look for better gear, and lo and behold, now we're talking. Check this out. Okay, so not to brag or anything, but I'm pretty sure these numbers classifies as fat rat balls.
Hey, Exile, you do realize that there's a giant spider at the end of this act, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, is that a handkerchief with chloroform? Gimme!
Welcome to your nightmare, bitch!
Wow!
What the hell happened? How did I get here? Well, I hope that was fun. I have no way of knowing since that is a black hole in my story. And speaking of fun, this is how Act 8 started out for me. I laughed so hard that I had to find a scroll of wisdom to wipe tears from my eyes. And what luck, because lo and behold, in my stash there were a chaos resist flask. It was a reward from a previous quest. And then I headed right back into the cistern. Cistern? Cistern? Sorry, I probably butchered it. Up next it's the Vile boss Doadri, and here we go. See, that wasn't so difficult after all. This is definitely the worst part to go through when reaching Act 8 in my opinion. So from here on out it should be more straightforward. So I grabbed the following waypoint after Doadri, then I returned to Act 7 to return a quest for Whalam, which grants a flask as a reward, figuring that increased damage might be helpful. And sorry for interrupting myself, but just look at that damage increase with the weapon I found. It's giraffe piss! Then I proceeded through the quay, because if you go that route there's a lot of skill points you can get as rewards for the quests. And that's why I went with that route. Level 60 baby, let's go! The Gemling Legionnaires was actually surprisingly easy for me to deal with, and nothing really noteworthy happens until I reached the Solaris Temple, where I found a really nice body armor. Check this out. It's owl vomit! And for the boss in Solaris Temple, I was so surprised to see that I actually managed to defeat him without dying a single time. So that's definitely a first for me in part 2 of this entire run. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty convinced that it's because I found both a new weapon recently and a new body armor. And on the off chance that you don't believe me, I have just chosen to speed up the footage so you can see it for yourself. Because I know if I were to see a video from me, I would like to see it for myself just to be sure, you know. Anyway, after dealing with the boss here, I headed straight towards the Lunaris Temple and I didn't have any issues regarding getting there at all. What I did have some issues with, however, is that inside the Lunaris Temple I found a corrupted area, and I'm not proud of this, but I think I died like 6 or 8 times in there and I didn't even get the gem I was looking for, so that sucks. Moving on. The boss of the Lunaris Temple gave me minor issues, but only because I think she's slightly more difficult than the boss of the Solaris Temple. Anyway, I died probably a couple of times, that's about it. With the boss out of the way here, I can finally start heading towards the final boss of this act. And finally I'll be able to get the hell out of here. But according to Solaris and Lunaris, getting the hell out of here has a way other definition than the one I had in mind. To me it means getting past the boss and moving to Act 9. To Solaris and Lunaris it means absolute obliteration until there's literally nothing left of me. But that's not all. This fight in its entirety took more than 16 minutes to get through. And yeah, it was just as brutal as you can imagine it. But despite this boss fight being so difficult under these conditions, I gotta admit that this is a really good boss fight in my opinion. They really made something incredible here. It's definitely one of the more memorable boss fights Grinding Gear games have ever put out. The boss fight itself is fun and engaging, it fits really well with the theme of the act, and it's just so well coordinated and executed. My playstyle on the other hand is the complete opposite end of that. But the funny thing about this boss fight is, I love it so much, so even though I died maybe 100 times or so, I had so much fun that it wasn't even infuriating. That's how good this boss fight is. It's such a shame to see that in Path of Exile 2 we don't even have anything remotely close to a decent boss. Exile! Don't talk about Path of Exile 2. There are a lot of people who enjoy the game. And if you're gonna talk about Path of Exile 2, at least mention something positive. Like you really like... the lore is also... there? I think? Never mind that. We can talk about Path of Exile 2.
Here's Johnny!
I told you I was gonna make the world a better place by removing you from it. It's not the bounty on your head that I'm after, or even care about for that matter. I hate every single fiber in your being, you fucking piece of shit!
bounty idea for my little exile was most pleasing, but I wish to do it again. Can we enter a contract to bring her back?
A contract?
I and only I alone gets to end her miserable existence.
Okay. What name will you be
Mine
signing?
offer for this service is 50 million.
Well, a man's got to make a living after all.
You and I have a contract.
Good. Rise, exile. Rise and suffer, so that I may one day obliterate your soul.
Back in Highgate, and I really dread what is going to happen from here on out, because my health is really low and I'm feeling incredibly squishy. But there's only one way forward, so let's go! And already at the descent I had to switch my auras from life regeneration to elemental resistance. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, it was a bit rough getting from the descent into the Vestiri desert. And my plan was originally to get the waypoint here, but I found the quest item first, so that's a bonus, I guess. Anyway, I proceeded to the foothills, where I killed Boulderback, I dinged, then I entered the mines, and I'm already at the quarry waypoint, so that was a lot faster than expected. And not too bad. But now comes the hard part, because this next boss is going to be a pain in the ass. Phew, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But that's not the boss I was referring to. This fat lump of shit is the boss I was referring to. Holy crap, I really don't like this boss, like at all. And he kicked my ass so hard, you wouldn't believe it. I told you this part was gonna give a major headache. And don't worry, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. This run was such a good idea, and by good I mean insane. This next boss, however, was so much easier to deal with, and it's actually one of the fights in this run where I didn't die a single time, believe it or not. And Garo Khan wasn't that much difficult either, it was pretty straightforward. This boss fight in itself is not too bad. It's just hit the boss, avoid the AoEs, and kill the ads. Rinse and repeat. And don't die. Duh. And with Garo Khan out of the way, I am now able to do this and this. And though it's not much, anything will help regarding of what's about to happen next. Because remember in the beginning of this act when the screen said the worst is yet to come, we are here. The worst is about to come. It's right at the doorstep. This, across all of my challenge runs and everything I have ever done, I don't think I have ever died so much to a single boss fight in my entire life as I did with this god-awful boss of Act 9. And yes, the boss fight in itself took approximately 45 minutes. Please wait, don't click off the video, okay? We only got like 30 or 40 minutes left of this, please. Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna subdue you to that. I'm just gonna skip ahead if that's okay with you, because this is just so painful, even just to watch it. But to briefly give you a summary of my experience here, Doadri and Meligaro only gave me minor issues, but Chevron, fucking Chevron, fuck that bitch. I was just about, oh my god, I lost my fucking shit to her, and just knowing she isn't even the final boss, like, fuck me, man. But the really fun part, the shit cherry on shit top of my shit sundae that I can't stop slurping, it isn't even the worst yet. Do you know what the worst part is?
That's the
It's the fact that when we fucking meet Sin and free him or whatever, he's like, you and only you I shall serve. Well then fucking do something, man! Jesus Christ, aren't you a fucking god of some sort? Jesus fucking Christ, man! Don't leave it all to me! Be a compadre, be a homie, a stand-up guy! Jesus Christ! The fate of the world is in our hands and you're just like, oh, you fat little, go ahead and do your thing! Fuck you, man, useless piece of garbage. But no, I really appreciate that an omnipotent God is able to open a door. That's just so comforting. I just want my mommy. Whew. Okay, I need to calm down. I'm getting infuriated just by looking at the footage. So I'm going to explain to you in a nice and calm voice how this felt. It's like smashing a mirror of Calandra onto the ground and then you use your asshole as a vacuum to suck up literally every single piece of glass. And then there comes a tiger which puts its mouth all over your head. So you shit your pants, while a lion is pissing all over you. And as if that weren't bad enough, then comes Mike. Fucking Mike, right? And he's all like, hey, I fell a sleeping bag with hot wings, you wanna go hitchhiking? Well dude, I'm in the middle of something, can't you see? No, I don't wanna go hitchhiking. Have you ever had to deal with a boss fight for 45 fucking minutes in Path of Exile? Okay, the final stretch, and there's absolutely no reason to waste any time, so let's go. And the first thing on the agenda was to free Bannon. Unfortunately, back then when I recorded this, I was so frustrated with the boss from Act 9 that I actually forgot to record me rescuing him. But that's a minor issue. I mean, it was more than 2 years ago. Please, bear over with me. I picked up the waypoint at the control blocks because that's just an easy waypoint to get to from the rooftop entrance. After that I headed into the reliquary and got the waypoint there. Then I proceeded to get the waypoint of the Ravaged Square, right outside the ossuary entrance. And inside the ossuary entrance I noticed something, and that's the difference in levels. So it's fun to see that I'm quite under-leveled compared to the area, but it's also fun to know that this area is really nice to farm for XP and such. But that's not why I'm here right now. I'm only here for a quest item. But my point is this. This is a really sweet spot for XP farming and it's not difficult to get through. Not even under these conditions, surprisingly. And back in the desecrated chamber, I actually came a little bit more prepared this time, in the form of that I actually had a somewhat better beat than the last time, but we'll see what the boss have to say about it. I feel pretty confident nonetheless.
No, please don't kill my boy. Hahaha, you're back on an asshole. You're not because I've already summoned my biggest friends.
Okay, I'm going to give you a heads up right now, because in order for me to defeat Avarius, I'm going to catch him off guard by using the most annoying sound in this video, on this planet, on the internet probably. My own voice. I mean, goddammit, listening to it is a challenge run in itself. I want to break my own skull by listening to it. God damn it, I hate the sound of my own voice. Where was I? Oh yeah, Avarius. If I pull this off, Avarius' next line is going to be, please make it stop. This is the sound of true nightmare. So please, for your own safety, cover your ears now. After defeating the Varlova soul, getting to the city of Zaan was my next goal. On my way to the city I saw a woman was entrapped, I saved her life and all her captors got their knees. And now I'm so close to the end that I figured now is a proper time to use my blacksmith, whetstones and armor scrap to upgrade my gear. And then I'm gonna clean up the rest of the bits and pieces I've left behind throughout this run. But don't worry, because we will get through it very quickly.
A scroll of wisdom, to read a scroll of wisdom, so I can learn how to. The scroll of wisdom, on a scroll of wisdom, to read a scroll of wisdom, so I can learn how to.
go. And finally, at long last, after God knows how many deaths, after shoving God knows how many armor scraps up my own butthole just to feel a different kind of pain than the one in my head, I have finally made it back for round 2 against Kitava in the campaign of Path of Exile. And this fight was not too bad, actually. I mean, it's still the final boss and all, but it's far from the most difficult boss that I have dealt with throughout this entire journey. I had a few deaths during the fight with him, and the fight only lasted for like 10 or 11 minutes. And that only is in huge quotation marks, because under no other circumstances should a boss fight last 10 minutes, not in Path of Exile. In any case, I'm gonna let this boss fight play out in its entirety just so you can get a sense of the tedium with only using white items only. And I will see you afterwards, so enjoy! Oh, and look, now Sin is able to attack. Yeah, fuck that guy.
deserve but a moment's respite.
Yeah, you, Sin. You're probably like the hooded one in Path of Exile 2 in disguise or some shit. Most useless NPC ever. Fuck you.
It's over.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I beat Path of Exile with nothing but white items only. Arguably the dumbest way anyone has ever played Path of Exile. I'll take my award now, please and thank you. But man, if I can tell you one thing I've learned from this, don't ever do it. It's not recommendable. In any case, if you're one of the few people who are still watching at this point, thank you so much. I really hope you did enjoy the video, because I sure as hell didn't. But please, if you did, at the very least consider leaving a like. Maybe share my video, also consider subscribing to my channel, because enlightenment like this is hard to come by. Also, I don't have an account on X or Twitter, and I think that should count for something. What I do have, however, is the script for my next video, which I've already begun working on. And I'm also really curious to hear what you think about presenting a video this way. I tried going a completely different direction, because, let me be honest with you, footage from Path of Exile is near impossible to be creative with compared to any Soulsborne or any Souls-like games, because you just have this one fixed angle. You don't really have that much to work with. and it was so frustrating. I mean, I was more invested in the Neo story than in the Path of Exile run itself. But I would really love to hear what you think about it. Any and all feedback is appreciated because I know that I went completely experimental here. Whatever the case may be, thank you so much for watching the video, and I wish you nothing but a wonderful day. And until next time, I'm a very fatigued and traumatized exile, and I have played Path of Exile in a very stupid way. Also, don't forget that if I ever hit 1,000 subscribers, I will dress up as Tifa. I mean Rani, do not make me dress up as Tifa. Ah! Woo, what a story. Chapter and verse. Man, I just can't wait. You!
Still saying exile?
Tonight you die for real scenes. Shit. Hey, is that a Path of Exile 2 review by Fat Exile on the ground? Psych! Shit heal! I hope you find peace being reincarnated as a corn that's stuck in Domino's butthole. Huh? What's with this glowing horn? I got a really bad feeling about this. Oh shit! What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck?
$50,000 schmeckles for the head of this fat fuck.
So you're the one who's been putting out all these
I
posters?
personally rip your head off your body with my own bare hands.
Shut the fuck up! It's over. Oh my fucking god, I can't believe it's over. Even his horn have stopped glowing. I wonder why he put such a huge bounty out on my head. Whoa, what's going on with the sword? No, please, no, God, please, fuck, no, stop!
This is the most incompetent, worthless
video
I have ever seen in my life!